Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the In Mara podcast. I am your host, Haley Sasso, and we are here today alone. And boy, am I happy to be alone right now. I love to be alone because I don't have to speak. And it's funny because I'm speaking right now. I'm recording this podcast episode, but it's different. It's so different. And I love having my friends come on the podcast, and I love having guests, and I love hearing about other people's perspectives. But sometimes it's brutal because I'm like, wait, I have to fully lead this in a direction. It's a lot more challenging for me to have people be on the podcast than it is for me to just do it solo. So I love having people on, but I'm excited to be alone this week because I feel like I have a lot that I want to talk about. And to just give you a quick little synopsis of what we're talking about this week, we're talking about success and what it means to be successful and what it takes to be successful, and what it is that makes one person successful and another person unsuccessful, as well as kind of getting into the 1-year postgrad and what that's looked like and what it's been like for me and in comparison to some of my peers and all of that. So let's just start out by saying that thank the Lord, I have felt way more inspired this week than I have the last few weeks. Like when I had Megan and Nate on the podcast, those were both weeks that I was kind of struggling a little bit with feeling motivated and feeling confident, which I think you can tell, like when I'm not feeling my best, you can tell, like it's so clear. When I was editing those episodes, I was like, holy fucking shit. I was like a cloud of dark weather. And I like that I still try and show up and I do my best and whatever, but this week basically is all I'm saying is that it has been a better week. And I thought that I would kind of get into this by giving you a little life update. Okay, guys, let me get cozy again. First things first, I was baptized last week. And that's something that I haven't really talked about with a lot of the people in my life. I actually didn't even tell anyone that I was doing it until like the day before. But yeah, a lot of people were asking me like, why? Why did you do that? And that's a great question. And I guess I'll just come on here and say it. Okay. The year postgrad was no joke. Like, seriously, no fucking joke. The decisions that I made, the things that I had to do, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my fucking God, was I in the trenches there for a minute, okay? And I found a lot of comfort in church. And even more than church, like, the community involved at church and the feeling of peace that I found going to church. Because guys, I've been going to church like a good amount, and I usually go alone. Like I'll go alone and I'll just sit there by myself and I'll like talk to the people around me who are sitting by me. But for the most part, like it's a solo journey where I'm just at church kind of like, bro, not to get all woo woo, but like feeling the energy. Like it feels like a good safe space, okay? And it's a place where I feel like I go, and oftentimes when I go, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And I honestly, to be clear, haven't really thought about it much more than that, because there are certain things with religion where I feel like I don't quite agree with every single aspect, But the basis of it is I feel peace when I'm there, and it feels right to be there, and I've wanted to be baptized, I think, my whole life. For some reason, I don't know. I've just always been like, oh, dang, like, I am, like, one of the only people especially like in my family, like who's not baptized. And I never was, because my mom was never any religion and my dad isn't a religion. And the only religious person in my life has been my stepmom, and she's Catholic. And I think I would have even been baptized Catholic, but like I've never had the opportunity to be baptized. Like never has it lined up for it to happen for me. And so I've just kind of waited, you know? I'm like, okay, like I have always known that I would get baptized whenever the time came along where everything worked out and it felt right. And so whatever, that was this last week. And it was such a special day where it was like the day before I was getting baptized. And I was like, holy shit, like theoretically, this is like kind of a big deal. Like to a lot of people, getting baptized is a huge deal. To me, it didn't necessarily feel like a huge deal because I feel like I have like my own relationship to God or like the higher power that I feel pretty confident in. And I feel like a lot of people get baptized to be saved, in quotation marks, which basically just means that like whatever, you proclaim that you believe in a God and you think that there's a heaven after death or hell, whatever the fuck, right? But like I already feel like protected and like peace. Like I already feel good in all of my decisions. So getting baptized didn't seem like a huge thing until the day before it happened. And then I was like, wait, I haven't told my family. I haven't told any of my friends. I was just planning on showing up to this baptism alone. And then I was like, holy shit. Let me text my friends. So who did I text? I texted Megan, she's Jewish. So I was like, I don't really know. And it was weird. It was like, I didn't know who I like felt comfortable with being there, because my relationship to God and like whatever is very, very personal, where I feel like I haven't really let a lot of people know that side of me because it doesn't involve anyone else. Like it's literally between me and God, right? So I didn't really know who I wanted there. Texted a few of my friends. The only person that could come was one of my coworkers. And I was like, you know what? This is awesome. So whatever, go. My coworker's there. He brought his mom. And I don't know. It was just like a beautiful evening where it felt like it was a random mixture of people who was there, right? But like it felt right. It was fun, whatever. I had a good time. I've been baptized. That being said, I didn't go to church on Easter because honestly, it just didn't feel right. When I tell you like that I make the majority of decisions based off of what feels right, that's it. I prefer going to church every other Sunday where like the message is just going to be something else, but like going to church on a day where like everyone goes to church because they think that they should go to church, it just didn't really feel like my kind of day. So yeah, that's that. And to be honest, I still don't really know what I believe. I don't really know what religion I am. All I know is that I believe in a higher power, and I have found a lot of peace and comfort and inspiration from that, and it's personal, and we'll leave it there, okay? Besides that, I had a weekend off this last week, which was my first Saturday, Sunday off, and I can't even remember the last time that I had both Saturday and Sunday off. And I went to the beach with Megan, and I got so sunburnt that this whole right side of my face and my neck is peeling. Like I look like a mess. It's flaky and it's gross and uncomfortable. Like when I speak, I feel like my skin is just dry and unwell. But overall, things are good. Life is going good. And yeah, we're here to talk about success and the year postgrad, because holy shit, has this last year been insane and nothing that I could have planned for or prepared myself for. So, to start off, this week I have felt inspired by the idea of success because I was reading a book by my roommate's mom. Guys, Cheryl Klein, she's an author, phenomenal. I mean, I'm only 50 pages in, but I just feel really inspired. And she wrote about who gets to decide that like people are good enough. And she talked about how she worked with like Olympians, and she like got to know them and like their stories and who told them that they were good enough to be an Olympian. And in her book, she talked about how they decided they were good enough. Like, they decided that they could be successful. And so they've become successful. And that resonated, I think, with me a lot because this last year, I've thought a lot about success and what it means to me to be successful. And if I can be successful within my own definition. But what's been hard is the comparison to the capitalistic definition of success. All right? And I took some notes on this that I want to pull up. And when I looked into like the capitalistic definition of success, it was basically just rooted in wealth, income, luxury, possessions, your career title, if you're publicly recognized, your productivity, whatever the fuck, how much you do, like how much you put out, and your influence, which is like your social media following or your visibility. And the thing with the capitalistic definition of success is that it's a system that rewards constant output. It rewards the grind, the hustle, which is great, but I think a lot of times it causes people to sacrifice sometimes their dreams, their morals, their peace, the relationships that they have, their health, and their authenticity, which has been something that I have struggled with because, yes, like I want to be successful, but I think sometimes I get lost in my own definition of success because I have my own definition of success that I think is different from the worldly view of success. But sometimes they get intertwined and they get messy. And I think it all just starts with, how I was raised. Like I was born and I lived with my mom until I was like 14. And my mom was really, really poor. Like she didn't have much. And then I went to a private school that like my dad and my stepmom paid for, and the kids at this school had a lot more materialistic items and their parents were more successful in the capitalistic definition. And to me, at least in high school and middle school, the capitalistic definition of success seemed like that was the way out of the reality that I didn't want to live. So I became pretty materialistic. Like I spent a lot of the money that I made in high school on like stupid shit, like just random designer shit. Like I have pink Gucci flip-flops. Yeah, guys. They're pink rubber Gucci flip-flops. They're like slides, and they're the most uncomfortable things ever. And it's from my materialistic era. And then like even looking back on this last year, when I bought my dream car. Okay, guys. Like that's materialistic. Like let's be real. It's materialistic. Does it make me happy? Yes. But do I need it? No. Grateful for it. But like it's materialistic. It's capitalistic. And that's kind of in line with the idea of success that I don't think that I necessarily agree with. Because let's take a rewind, right? To 1 year ago. You might be thinking to yourself, how was Haley doing a year ago? Unwell. Severely unwell, actually. I was freaked the fuck out at graduating college. Like, I was like, what do you mean I'm graduating? I'm gonna be, like, supporting myself here, and I want to stay in San Diego, and I have no idea how, because when I graduated college, I made the decision that I didn't want to pursue a 9-to-5 traditional career right away. I wanted to work odd jobs so that I could find my passions and hopefully learn how to make money by doing the things that I love. But that's fucking stressful. post-grad is stressful in general. Even my friends who did go the traditional route are stressed out. They were stressed out. Some of them still haven't been able to find jobs. Like, it is just, oh my God. Oh my God. I remember I graduated college, and my graduation week was like one of my favorite weeks of my entire life. Like, my whole family was here, as in like my stepmom and my dad and my brothers and like some of my grandparents and aunts. And it just felt so special to like feel celebrated by my family and to like hear that they were proud of me. And I think even more, like, it was special at first to like feel proud of myself, because when I was little, like living with my mom, really poor, I mean, like, it was my dream to live in San Diego and like to have graduated from college here and to be on the path to like supporting myself. It was like the first time that I felt like truly proud of myself. So whatever. A year ago, I was doing unwell, I was freaked out, but then grad week was amazing and I was ecstatic. And then it was like after my parents left for grad week, I was like, oh shit. What the fuck am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay, and what did I do? Great question, you guys. I said yes to every single job opportunity that came my way. And what that meant was that I burnt myself out, because I honestly had to. I had to burn myself out because living in San Diego is expensive and it's a grind. And my life is beautiful here, but I have to work hard to be here. And that means that I don't get a lot of days off, and I have to work sometimes 2, 3, 4 jobs at times to make everything work. But that's what I've been doing. And so whatever, when I first graduated college, I was like, my plan is to be a personal trainer, and whatever. I did become a personal trainer. I got my personal training certificate through NASM, but then I realized that I maybe didn't actually want to do that. And so I was like, fuck, what do I do? And then like a nanny gig fell into my lap that was like, you know, giving me enough money. And so I was like, whatever, I'll just take the nanny gig. And then after the nanny gig, I was like, let me work at this cafe because it's cute and I love it. And whatever. Basically, things have like bloomed from one thing to another. But the biggest thing with the post-grad is, I think, the struggle to find my footing in where I want to put my roots down to grow. Because I do love the odds and ends jobs that I do. Like, all of them that I do are amazing, fun jobs where I feel like I get to be myself, I get to learn, I get to grow, I'm surrounded by good people. But at the end of the day, like, that's not where I want to grow. Like, that's what I need to do to, like, pay my bills right now. But at the end of the day, my dreams lie with my passions, like the podcast, with creative things, just in general. And so it's like learning to find the balance between working these odds and end jobs and then trying to work on building whatever it is that I want to build on the side, which gets hard because it gets kind of exhausting. And it's hard too because like I'll compare myself to the people who chose the traditional route, where maybe they have the more capitalistic thing of success, where it's like some of my friends are already making like 6 figures. Some of them are like, they found their dream corporate job that they absolutely love, and I'm so excited for them. But it's hard because then it's like I look at myself and it's like, what am I doing? Like I'm podcasting. I'm podcasting. I'm posting on TikTok. I'm like, what? And I've had a few strangers say things to me this year that just, rub me the wrong way because they make me question myself. I've had a few strangers be like, oh, so like you're working these jobs for now, but like what's next? And I'm like, what do you mean what's next? I had one lady be like, at one of like the cafe jobs I was working at, she was like, I want to see you get out of here. Like, you need to quit this job. Like, you are not meant to be in a cafe, in a coffee shop. Like, you need to get into real estate. It's like all of these people, strangers, will just give me their opinions and tell me what it is that they think that I need to do. And in my head, I'm like, okay, Haley, calm down. Like, you know that you have your path that you're following that they aren't even aware of. Because I'm not going to vocalize, to everyone what my fucking plans are, because that's my life. Whatever, it's private. But, like, hearing them voice their opinions and, like, having them be like, you're better than this. Like, what are you doing here? I'm like, guys, wait, what am I doing here? And then I kind of freak out for a moment and I'm like, fuck, am I making the wrong decision? Am I failing? Am I not going to be successful? And I think this week was a good reminder that all of our paths look different. Like, I just burped into the mic. Excuse me. My path isn't going to look like my best friend's path. And it's not going to look like your path. And your path maybe isn't going to look like your friend's path. We all have different paths, but it's just important, I think, first that we create our own definition of success. Like, what does it mean to you to be successful? Do you maybe align more with, like, the capitalistic definition, where it's like, okay, like, this is about wealth and how much money you can accumulate and the job title you have and the items that you own? Like, is that the kind of success that you want to align with? That's fine if that is, by the way. Like, this isn't me judging. That's fine if that is, but just find your definition of success and then figure out how to align to it. Something that I've learned about myself in this year postgrad is that is not the success that I align myself with, because the idea of success that I have is a lot more feeling based. It's more of like a mental state. It's a state of being rather than something physical. And what I mean by that is I have been fortunate enough this last year, maybe the last couple years, to have moments in my life where I feel truly at peace and truly just in love with the world around me, in love with my life. And for me, that's a lot of the little things, like just having a latte and people watching at a cafe. Like, that makes me feel successful because I look at where I am. I'm like living by the ocean in a beautiful place that is pretty expensive. It's pretty hard to live here. And I look around and I just see so much beauty and love, and I feel successful. And do I have $1 million in my bank account? No. Do I have a whole bunch of fancy clothes in my closet? No. Do I have a fancy job title? No, I don't. But I feel successful because I feel aligned with my own purpose. And I've also found a lot of alignment through fitness and fitness instructing and teaching yoga sculpt classes, because it's small. It's such a small thing. It's like a 1-hour class. But I have been able to make an impact in people's lives. And, bro, I'm literally choking up right now. Bro. Okay. Like, fuck. Wow, let me compose myself. Being able to make an impact in other people's lives has been the coolest thing ever. Like, the coolest thing ever. And I always tell people when they ask, they'll be like, oh, like, do you like teaching classes and like fitness stuff? And I would say yes, because there's nothing nothing better than seeing people fall in love with themselves, because there is no better relationship than the one that you can create with yourself. And just knowing my past of how I used to always feel like I was at war with myself, and somehow, like, fitness classes and like working out and like learning self-discipline and like finding a community through working out, it helped me to fall in love with myself and to see this new side of myself and believe in myself like I never have before. And so being able to like be a leader in that and to see people show up like every single week at 6 a.m. on a Sunday or like 6 a.m. on a Friday, and just the growth is amazing, right? And it's moments like that where I have students come up to me and they'll be like, you have like completely transformed my life, or like whatever. Like, that is when I feel the most successful. And I always tell them, I'm always like, I am not changing your life. Like, I'm just showing up. You're changing your life because you are the one who's making the decision to come. Like, I'm coming because this is my job and this is something that I love, but you're the one who's changing your life. And I have gotten to know like the coolest people through that. And that has shown me that a lot of the success that I believe in my own definition is through community and the relationships that we that we build with one another. It's awesome because it's like not every day is a good day. And sometimes I teach a class and I'm like, that shit sucked. Those people were not fucking with my energy. I wasn't really fucking with my energy. And I feel like that was mid. It's like there's some days like that where it's like, okay, maybe I don't feel that successful. But like I said, it's the little things. It's the tiny little moments. Like I have gotten more flowers gifted to me from like students at these like fitness classes than I have from like any boyfriend ever. And like these students will like celebrate holidays with me. If I'm going through a hard time, like I'll be relatively open like with the class. Like I'll be like, okay guys, like honestly kind of down in the dumps, whatever. And it's like they're there for me and it's like I'm there for them, and it's like it's just the best thing ever, okay? And I think that bleeds into like social media and the podcast, because like it's never been my dream to be like rich and famous, right? But I have a passion for being able to positively impact people's lives and inspire them and help them believe in themselves. And I think that I've tried to find a way to do that through social media and this podcast and all of that. And it's awesome, basically, is what I'm saying, is that my definition of success, it isn't, I think, what I was told that it should be. And I think sometimes, like, I'm literally being compared by other people. Like, strangers will compare me to their definition of success, and they'll be like, I want more for you. But I think what's hard for people to understand is that you don't need to have more. You just need to realize that you already have it all. So to be successful, it doesn't take something special. It doesn't take, the odds are 1 in a billion that you're going to be the special person. That's not, honestly, fuck that, you guys. The odds of you being successful are if you can believe that you are. If you believe that you can be. Like the Olympians that I read about in Megan's mom's book, like they chose themselves. They decided that they could be good enough. And so they were. So if you want to be successful, whatever your definition is, choose yourself. Decide that you're going to let yourself be successful. That doesn't mean being the absolute best every day, because let's be honest, theoretically, there's always going to be someone who's better than you, but it just means not giving up when you're not the best. Like, am I the best podcaster? No, probably not. But am I going to give up? No, I'm not. Am I the best yoga instructor, fitness instructor, personal trainer? No, probably not. But I'm going to keep showing up because I love the process. And I believe that if I follow the things that I love, that I can be successful in my own definition, maybe in multiple definitions. You know, I just think the power that you have is choosing yourself. And that's something that's taken me a really long time to learn and realize, and multiple just failed romantic relationships where like I try to choose somebody else and be like, what the fuck? Like, why won't you choose me back? And yeah, it took 22 years for me to realize that the power that I had was in choosing myself, in deciding that I'm going to let myself be successful. I'm going to let myself pursue my passions, even when I doubt it, even when other people doubt me. And I'm never going to stop trying to find the peace and love and light in my life, because in my opinion, that is success. That is the point. And I never want to sacrifice my definition of success for somebody else's. I truly feel like the value that we all have isn't monetary. It's not in how much you can create or how much you can produce or how much money you can earn. The value that we have is ourselves. And it's realizing that we are enough as we are. Like, your love, your energy, your attention, like, that is the highest currency. So it's like, what do you want to spend your currency on to make you successful? And are there things that maybe you're wasting your time, energy, thoughts on that aren't contributing to things that you actually think are going to make you successful? I feel like that's kind of all I got. So, the 1-year post-grad review is that this year was really, really hard. I would say the first 6 months post-grad, I was a flaming dumpster fire, shit show. And then the second half of the first year post-grad, I have slowly been finding comfort in my own decisions and choices, and I have been finding people who support me in those decisions, even if it's not something that they personally agree with. And there's something special about that. So just know that there's no right or wrong way to live your life. You just have to realize that it truly is up to you. And that's all. That's my mic drop moment. So I guess we're going to leave it there. I love you. Seriously, so much. I love this so much. And if anyone has any questions, comments, feedback, please text me, call me, DM me. Leave it in the comments under this video on Spotify, YouTube, whatever the fuck. Just know that you're good enough. You deserve it. And I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.